Right now, 50 people who had been living at the Mount Hood Senior Living Facility in Sandy are scrambling to find somewhere else to stay.
And it comes after the Department of Human Services ordered the home's closure and gave residents just a day's notice. Fox 12's Julia Lopez joins us live in Sandy. Julia, what can you tell us about the closure?
Well, right now here at Mount Hood Senior Living, not a person in sight, no signs of anyone. According to the suspension order filed by the Oregon DHS, this facility had a long history of not properly caring for its residents, from sanitation concerns to dietary mix-ups to safety. You may remember back in December, a woman went missing from this facility not even 24 hours after her arrival. She was soon found dead just half a mile away. Today, I spoke with one former resident who said, yes, the facility had its issues, but the closure was far too sudden. Larry Burlett had been staying at Mount Hood Senior Living for just 2 months. When he was notified on Friday, he had 8 hours to get somewhere else.
I was kind of dumbfounded. I kind of didn't know what to do.
His friend Steve Hood, who helped him find his current room at Mount Hood Medical Center, says that's not an easy feat for anyone, much less for Burlett, who has stage 4 cancer.
There was no notice given, and basically people were, for lack of better terms, just kicked out on the street.
When Mount Hood Senior Living closed Friday, Burlett says he spent 6 hours in the hospital waiting room without necessary medication or an idea of when he may get in a bed.
So I really had no other place to go. I literally did not have another place to go. So this was my only solution, was to come into a hospital.
He missed several doses of important medication and is still unable to get one of his cancer medicines, which is being held at the facility. Hood has decades of experience working with assisted living facilities and says a situation like this is unheard of.
What's appalling is that a lot of these people may not have the friends that Larry has.
Burlett says his experience at Mount Hood Senior Living was negative. He said much of the staff was not trained, the food was terrible, and there were long waits for help with things like showering. But Hood says the frustration is now directed towards the Oregon DHS.
Our seniors should never be treated this way. If my heart just breaks for those that, again, that don't have people there to help them through this.
Burlett tells me that he plans to move to a home in West Lynn that has an open bed. His first choice was to stay near Gresham, but nothing was available. Still, he says he considers himself lucky. He says he doesn't know what he would have done if his friends hadn't stepped in to help him. The DHS told us in a statement that the safety of residents is its top priority. Reporting in Sandy, Julia Lopez, Fox 12 Oregon.
Tough situation.